Hey everyone, welcome to Module 4. So today we're talking about one of the biggest reasons listings sit for too long, and that is pricing. So I see a lot of beginners make the same mistake. They price based on what they paid or what they want back or what they feel it's worth, sentimental attachment, emotional attachment to the item. And that usually leads to one thing, which is slow sales, put simply. So in this module, I want to help you make a really important shift. Stop asking, what do I want for this? And start asking, what would make this feel like a good buy for the buyer? And this or that is a mindset change, because pricing is not just about profit. It's about how quickly the item moves, how many offers come in, whether it gets bundled, how much momentum your wardrobe has in general. And a slightly better price could completely change how fast something sells, completely change how the rest of your wardrobe moves. I've seen it so many times. So pricing changes how the buyer feels. If something looks overpriced, they don't message, they don't favorite it, they don't click, they just move on. And that affects not only the buyer themselves, but then the information that buyer's activity, whether it's how long they hovered, and so on, feeds the algorithm. And that then leads to less visibility and so on. So pricing is really, really important in that sense. Remember, buyers are comparing your item against lots of other listings. So the question is always, does this feel like a good buy from a buyer's standpoint, right? Good pricing creates more offers, more bundles, faster movement, and stronger momentum. And momentum within the whole of your wardrobe is what helps you grow. It creates more followers, it creates more momentum on a particular item. That item may then go viral, and then that item may bring more buyers, a greater variation of buyers to your store. Now, think like a buyer. Before you price anything, put yourself in the buyer's shoes. They're scrolling quickly, they're comparing your item against several similar options. So ask, does this feel like value? Would I click this one first? Is there room for offers? Does it feel better than the others? And that mindset removes the emotion. So the easiest way to price better is to use comparable listings. Before pricing anything, search for similar listings on Vinted, search for similar items in Vinted. Firstly, the same size, because, for example, if you're selling something that is incredibly oversized, right, it might be a woman's XXXL, it might be a size 24, and you're comparing it to a size 8, which is a very popular and quite common size, it will be difficult to understand whether that item is going to move at that particular price, right? So make sure you're comparing the same size. Make sure you are comparing, for the most part, the same sort of edition. If you're comparing jeans, as in this instance, make sure they're Levi's 501s. Make sure they're whatever the subset is that keeps it similar, so you can understand that you're comparing apples for apples and not other fruit, as it were. Make sure you're searching the same color, because there may be certain instances of an item or certain aspects of an item that are not particularly desirable. There may be a particular hoodie that is not really wanted in orange, but it's really popular in black or navy, or one of the colors that will go a bit better with other items of clothing, right? So look for the same brand, same item type, similar condition, similar size, similar style. This will then give you a market range, and now you can stop guessing. You're pricing based on buyer expectations and market reality, not emotion, right? So let's look on Vinted, and we will go through and just search Levi's 501s, right? So we can go size, let's say men's large, right? Condition, very good. And the color for the most part will be the same, but we're looking for color, let's say blue, right? So we can see that when we look at the rough size, same brand, the price is anywhere between 10, 8, 19, 10, 10, 10, 7, 17. And sometimes it's a good idea to look where the likes are sitting, right? So you've got 4 likes on this, 4 likes on this, 12.50, £10. You've got 27 likes on this, which is £20. It may be the design and so on, right? So looking at these, if I had a pair of Levi's 501s, look, there's someone that sold them, or tried to sell them, I should say. That's really important, at £30. There's also, most people are pricing them around 10, 11, 15, 20. So it's anywhere between about £8 and £20 is our reasonable price range. Now, we don't know whether they're selling at 20. And this is why it's important from a pricing standpoint that you build some consistency. We can get onto this later on, and we will get onto this later on in other videos. But ultimately, if you know your stock and you understand the market for that particular item, you're going to have a lot better understanding of where best to price it. So if you specialize in selling mostly trousers, you're going to have a pretty good understanding of Levi 501s in blue in a size 32 men's, because you might sell a lot of that particular item. And that means you can get a feel for what sells. Now, that can work in two directions. It can mean that you sell it at the right price point at a lower end, because it means that you understand where the sweet spot is. And it also may be that you understand that mostly there are certain items within that subset that are mispriced. It may be that the blue jeans sell for £25 over and over, and the black ones only sell for 10. But if you have some consistency in working with a particular item, you can start to learn that, right? So this is just a broad brush understanding. You can do an eBay reverse image search. You can search a Google search on your Google image search on the particular item if it's something a bit more varied or a bit more obscure, shall we say, than Levi's 501s, which are obviously a very, very popular, if not the most popular item of jeans. So generally speaking, that gives you a picture on roughly what you can do. And a lot of it will take time. Sometimes you have to just get a feel for these things. So don't stress over this. Don't, give yourself a little bit of a break on this, and just take your time and feel the market out. Now, one of the biggest mistakes beginners tend to make at pricing is pricing at exactly the number that they want. That gives you no flexibility. Remember, buyers love offers. Vinted is a great marketplace for offers. And if you want to make the buyer feel like they've got value, as we said before, if you can accept an offer and still get the price that you want, everyone's a winner, because the buyer comes away feeling satisfied that they've got some money off what they thought they otherwise would have been paid. You've then got the profit margin, or the final sale value that you wanted, and everyone's a winner. But you have to price strategically in order to do that. So your price should leave room in order to do that. So the simple rule is target price plus offer room equals listing price, right? So if you want £12, you can list it at 15, 16, even £19. And now you can accept offers confidently, create interaction, encourage bundles, and still feel happy with the sale. And that small change makes a huge difference when you apply that to the entirety of a wardrobe, right? So like I said, target price, offer room equals listing price. So on those jeans, you might say, look, I want £12. I'm going to list them at 15 to 16, or I'm going to list them at 18, 19. Now, it may be, again, that you have to play around with this. When you start listing them at 19, they're not getting the traction, because you've got to remember, put yourself, as always, in the buyer's shoes. What are they doing? They're going to be using the filters, as we all do as buyers, to find a particular price for a particular item. They may only be looking to pay £15 for these jeans. And if ultimately most buyers are only searching up to £15 in price, you're pricing yourself out of that window, and you're not going to be seen by those. So it will take a little bit of trial and error. Give yourself some room to play around with this. But yeah, in this instance, like I said, 12 to 15, 15, 16, and then 19 potentially. That creates more flexibility, improves bundle psychology, which means that an item is more likely to be bundled together, and it keeps movement easier. We want a good click-through rate, we want a good sell-through rate, and we want to turn over stock fairly easily, particularly if we're not, you see a lot of influencers online where they've got, huge warehouses, and you think that's the only way to scale to thousands of pounds. Believe me, it's not. You can look behind me and understand why I'm making, thousands of pounds every month from a bedroom. So yeah, that's that. So the next slide, bundle psychology. Now, pricing slightly above target also helps with bundles. Buyers love feeling like they're getting a deal. So if your item has room for negotiation, it becomes easier for them to add another item, send an offer, buy multiple pieces. This creates sales activity, and more activity builds momentum. So pricing slightly above that target can positively influence acceptance rates. Okay. Now, when to reprice, and this is something that a lot of beginners struggle with, certainly in the conversations that I've had. Repricing is a difficult thing. And in my view, when your store gets bigger, or when your wardrobe gets bigger, and you're pricing, or you're listing, I should say, hundreds of items at a time, or you're holding hundreds of items at a time, repricing isn't so much of an issue because you're looking for consistency, you're looking to sell, and you can invariably sit on items for a little bit longer. When you're more of a beginner level, and you want to see more of a consistency in terms of your sales, you are going to have to reprice a little bit more consistently. So I would say that if something's been sitting too long, it needs a decision. A simple beginner rule is if there's been no movement in 7 to 14 days, review the price, right? Ask, am I above market? Does this still feel like value? Would I buy this over others? Now, in my experience, things do sometimes change. It may be that a particular item over the course of the 2 or 3 weeks that you've held it has changed. Either more of that particular item has come onto the market for whatever reason. You may have a big pro seller that is in the instance or the example we gave before, selling Levi jeans. He's just, or she has just got more stock back in, and they've just listed 100 other items that have drowned your item out. Does it still feel like value? Would I buy this over the others? Then make a small strategic drop in that case. Usually 10% is enough. The goal is not to panic because this serves two things. One is to adjust the price from a buyer standpoint, to adjust it to attract more buyers, and two, to signal to the algorithm that this item's still active. I'm still here. I'm still actively looking for a buyer for this item. Please, can you help me, basically? The goal is to restore momentum. Now, common mistakes that I see, the biggest pricing mistakes I see are, like I said, pricing based on what you paid, pricing emotionally, leaving no room for offers, never repricing, copying overpriced listings. And that is a big one. Sometimes people, you see it on eBay all the time with other items outside clothing and what have you, or someone will say, well, look, I saw this car listed for £20,000. And then you look at the sold listings and realize no cars of that sort in that model or that color, what have you, have sold at that level. So there is a big difference between what something's listed at and what it sells at. There's a huge difference because something can sit. If those jeans, I priced them at £100 and put them online, they'll sit for 2 years. They'll sit for 3 years. No one's going to buy them at that price because they know that there's an opportunity to buy the same item elsewhere for a cheaper price. So don't just copy the largest listing. Go through the method that we've discussed today. Ignoring bundle psychology. So if you want to price it accordingly and you want to attract bundles, price for it, right? So these are easy fixes. And once you fix them, you start thinking more like a seller by putting yourself in the position of the buyer because you are the buyer as well, right? So now I want you to choose one listing, right? Select one listing, whether that's on your own Vinted, whether you want to go through Vinted and assess, and compare it against similar listings, and then ask yourself, am I too high? Is there room for offers? Does this feel like good value? Now, good value is a perception, right? It's a subjective thing. And that's what this community is for. We're here to help each other because we are all buyers as well as sellers. We can provide feedback, we can provide perspective, we can provide experience. And that is exactly what this community is here. This is not the series of lessons, let me remind you. This is a community whereby we all contribute and we all provide an opinion based on our position as both an experienced seller or an increasingly experienced seller, I'd like to think, and an experienced buyer. What do I think of this as a buyer? If I were buying this, what do I think, and how would I view this? So take that item, post it in the community and ask, would you change this price? And when you do that, if you can, support others, support another couple of listings asking the same thing and help them sharpen their pricing too. This is how we all help each other. So final reminder, your goal is not perfect pricing. Your goal is better pricing decisions than last week. And that creates faster movement, better habits, more confidence, more sales momentum. And this is what we want. I'll see you in the community. Go post your pricing check. Thanks for listening.